Hey, Bonsai friends. Just so you guys know, there is a little bit of explicit language in this episode. We had Tommy Lee of Motley Crue, and we had a little bit of fun here. So just as a fair warning. Hello, Bonsai friends. This is Evan Pardue of Underhill Bonsai, and welcome to episode 57 of Little Things for Bonsai People. And this time I am joined by one of my co-hosts, Mike Lane of Kitsune Bonsai. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, guys. Going good.
And also I have Carmen Let's Go Biensky, or Carmen Let's Go Biensky. How's it going, Carmen?
Pretty good.
And we also have two very special guests with us today. Firstly, the owner and operator of Kimura Bonsai Garden, Bob Pressler. How's it going, Bob?
Great. How's it going?
Very, very well. And as well, we also have a very good friend of his, the drummer of Motley Crue and cultural icon, Tommy Lee. How's it going, Tommy?
Good, man. Good. How's it going?
Excellent. Excellent. We're so happy to have you guys on.
Yeah, welcome.
We're going to be talking about basically, Bob's experiences in bonsai, Tommy's experiences in bonsai, how he got into it, their current trip to Japan, which we're really excited to talk to him about. But before we get into it, I do need to mention that our podcast is sponsored by our amazing patrons over at patreon.com/little things for bonsai people. Head on over there and become a Bonsai Best Bud and hang out in the Discord with these amazing people. Starting off our list with Tori Solis, Vicky Alt, Boyd Snellgrove, Ricky Ruins, Joshua Bentley, Snappy Chappers, Joel Jenkins, Justin Knight, Backyard, Bonsai Australia, Greenwich Gardens, Taylor Peacock, Chase Pertweet, Austin Atkins, Karen Codswell, NUN Bonsai Garden, Louis Torres, AC Castle, Bonsai Marine, Joss Potts, Chris Fossoon, Timothy Arsenal, Randy Bennett, Victrina Ridgway, LaRon's Bonsai Yard, Nancy Hoffman, and Nate Murray. The list is just building up, and we're about to have to start breaking this up a little bit in the future.
We're going to have one episode of just shout-outs.
I was just going to start doing shout-outs, but I think once we hit that limit of like 30, we might have to do a randomized.
Yeah.
But also, I can't go much further without mentioning our editor, Matt O'Donnell. He makes us sound smart. He cleans up our audio. He makes us enjoyable to listen to. Go over to mattodonnell.com, fill out a contact form, and start your own podcast show or engineering project with him. He's a set basis living in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's an all-around awesome guy. It's in the script. I say it every single time. Thank you, Matt, for editing our show. So yeah, let's get into it, guys.
What I figured, I guess the first question, we'll start kind of, I want to know how you both got into bonsai. I don't know this about Bob either. So I was wondering kind of, Bob, how did you kind of start in bonsai, and how did you get Kimura started, and then how did you meet Tommy, and how did that kind of culminate? I guess we'll start there.
Okay. One big long answer.
Just break it up. We'll break
it down. It's fun.
I started when I was 10. I got dragged to the Book of Botanical Gardens. I was a 10-year-old kid. I cared less about some stupid garden. And it was the first nice Sunday after the winter. So the last thing I wanted to do was go to a garden. And my mom had a friend, Maggie, who I used to call Mountain Maggie because she had one of those big Marge Simpson hairdos.
Yeah.
And her daughter, who I used to call Stupid Candy, because her name was Candy and she was a girl, went with us. And to make a long story short, I saw my first bonsai there at the Book of Botanical Garden when I was 10. And it was a little Sergeant Juniper from Japan that sign said it was 225 years old. And that just blew me away. And I've been literally obsessed ever since. And that was when I was 10. And I'm 65 now, so there's a lot of obsession there.
Oh, man.
Cool.
Starting Kimura, I moved to Los Angeles in 1984 and found like the center of bonsai in the United States at the time. I was here a couple of weeks, and I ran into John Nata and kind of became befriended by him pretty quickly. And he introduced me to all the local bonsai clubs and stuff. And of course, I found all the nurseries, which there are plenty of. And I became friends with a guy named Jim Kimura, who owned a nursery in Northridge. 10 years or 12 years later, I came to say hi to Jim one day, and there was a sign saying for sale. And I like flipping out, like, Jim, why are you selling the nursery? And apparently he was sick, and his son didn't want to have anything to do with it. He was a school teacher. And yeah, the nursery business is, the joke about how to become a millionaire at Bonsai, right? Start with 2 million.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so the nursery business has definitely got to be a passion, unless it's like some giant large scale operation.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, I was a contractor at the time, a general contractor, and I had a really good business, really good crew. That almost all my work was for 2 decorators that just spent people's money like crazy, and I hated it. And for some reason, I said to Jim, "Well, how much do you have to sell the nursery for?" And he told me, and I should have known right then I was in trouble, because my first thought was, wow, that's not that much. I don't have any money, but that's not that much.
Yeah.
And that was on a Wednesday. Over the weekend, I couldn't get this idea in my head about owning a bonsai nursery and turning it into this like international bonsai school and, all of this stuff. And so I went to the library and I got some books about writing a business plan. And I wrote a business plan. I figured I'd go to the SBA and see if I could get a small business loan. And a friend of mine is a financial guy, so I asked him to read it over and tell me what he thought. And he read it and called me up laughing. And he said it wasn't a plan, it was a pipe dream, and tore to pieces.
Like all bonsai
Then he
plans.
said, "But, huh?"
Like all bonsai plans.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. But then he said, "But, you might actually be able to do this. I don't think it'll be quite what you think it's going to be, but you might be able to do it and, make some money. I'll loan it to you." I was like, "What?" And he offered to loan me the money to buy the business and buy the property.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was insane. So I called Jim Kimura up and I told him that I wanted to talk to him about buying the nursery. And at first he was really pissed because he thought I was just fucking with him. Yeah, because as far as he knew, I was just a bonsai hobbyist, and I was a contractor. But I said, "No, I'm serious. I have some ideas. I have money. Let's talk." And we talked. He lowered the price of the business by 50%.
Wow.
Buy all the material and all that stuff, and sold me a half acre of land in the San Bernardino Valley for $110,000.
Oh, wow.
No way. 110,000?
Yeah, it was pretty insane. It was a couple of years after the earthquake, so the value of the property went way down, but then it also went way up later on. So it took about a month to do all the paperwork and everything, and I bought the nursery. It was on a Wednesday that I bought the nursery. Officially became mine, and then that Friday he died.
Oh my gosh.
Way. Oh my God.
He was sicker than anybody really thought.
Man.
And the nursery was like the last thing he had to take care of. And once the nursery was taken care of, he let go, I guess. So Monday I went to his funeral, and I had to come back to the nursery to water because the plants don't care. They need water, they hate water. And I was in the back of the nursery kind of feeling a little overwhelmed, a lot overwhelmed actually, because I just kind of like completely upturned my life and went from doing one thing to doing something completely different. And I remember I was in the back of the nursery watering, and I was like, "Fuck, now what, Jim?" And clear as a bell, he just said, "Finish watering." And that was like almost 30 years ago now. So
I remember that story.
that's how I got to nursery.
Oh.
And then meeting Tommy, I guess I was the closest bonsai nursery to his house. And during COVID, he must have Googled, bonsai near me or something and found my place. But apparently he was coming to the nursery for a few months before I knew it. And I have this guy, Jorge, who works for me, who's worked for me since 1988, back when I was a contractor. And, he's a 60-year-old Salvadorian guy. And he told me, "Hey, the drummer for Motley Crue has been coming in buying bonsai material." And I'm like, "How the fuck do you know who the drummer for Motley Crue is?" And Tommy's kind of visible. You know, he's got hats all over the place and stuff. And I guess Tommy gave him a credit card. He saw the name, so we went and asked his kids, "Hey, who's this Tommy Lee guy?" He found it
Oh
out.
my gosh.
That's hilarious.
That's how he knew. So I told him next time he comes in, he'll let me know, and I'll go say hello. And I don't know if Tommy remembers this or not, but the first time I met him, he was in the back of the nursery, and I came back and I said something smart ass about, "Oh, so you're the guy buying all my good material or something." And he just gave me this kind of like dirty look, like, "Fuck out of here," you know? Like, I don't know what it was. He wasn't in a good mood or something. But, you know, so I just said, "Hey, I'm Bob. I own the place." And went back to the workshop and was working on some trees. And he came out, I guess, after picking out some stuff and asked me what I thought about what he picked out. And we talked for a minute. And then he asked me a question about a tree that I couldn't answer because I couldn't see the tree. It was at his house. And I said, you know, I can come by and check it out if you wanted to. And, you know, what should have been like an hour visit to diagnose a tree turned into a number of hours just hanging out, talking and working on trees.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's been that ever since. You know, it's been a couple of years of just hanging out, talking and working on trees, and then traveling to Japan.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's
cool.
cool.
It in a little nutshell.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. Do you also do garden design as well? And so I guess what I want to know is, which do you prefer doing, bonsai or garden design?
I prefer doing bonsai, but I like to be able to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the money I make doing landscaping, and also I almost, not exclusively, but almost exclusively do Japanese style landscapes.
Yeah.
And I get to kind of create sanctuaries for people.
Right.
So it's really hard to say. I mean, if I could just do bonsai and live the style of life I live now, I would in a minute, but I can't.
Yeah, I've seen some of your work, you know, your gardens, and I got to say, it'd be hard for me to pick which I'd enjoy more making.
It is, and it really, you know, I have great clients. Like, well, Tommy is one of them.
Yeah.
But, most of my clients, they're almost all referrals, and they're all basically have really good taste and can mostly afford to have good taste.
That helps.
Nice.
So it makes it really easy to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
And since they all refer each other, if one of them's an asshole, they tell me, "Hey, you know, this one been bugging me for your number, but they're an asshole, so you may not want to work with them." And I actually charged somebody an asshole factor once.
Yes.
And I got to be good friends with her.
Yeah, I
had to give her a rebate.
When I was at Bob's place, I noticed like that. Wait, never mind. I won't even go into this story. But yeah, it's a real thing. The
oh, you can go ahead.
I can't. Okay, so I noticed none of the price tags, you know, have prices on them, and I'm like, you know, what is this? What is the deal with this? You know, how much is this tree? And he goes to this little book and he looks up the price, and I'm like, well, why do you do it that way? And he's like, in case somebody's an asshole.
That's very clever.
I was about to say, I knew where
I
that was
appreciate
going.
that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, some people just deserve to be charged more because they're assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Good thing I'm not an asshole.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Tommy, how did you hear about bonsai, or what kind of started this? And then you meeting Bob, like how did you even kind of catch wind of bonsai, I guess?
Well, I'll try to give you a condensed version. I've been going to Japan with my band since, 82.
Yeah.
We've been touring there, and I'd always go to the gardens, and, you know, I just love the koi and the water and the gardens and the trees. And I just kept going every time we'd go to Japan. And I just started noticing the entire beauty of the whole thing and how it made me feel. And I got that place. I fell in love with Japan, the people, the culture, the food, the gardens, everything about it just like engulfed me, man. So I've always been drawn to that place. And then I started noticing bonsai. I'm not really sure how, but it's probably about six years ago. I started, now on YouTube, there's 9 million, videos on the stuff. And I don't know, I was just flicking around on YouTube one day and I saw like tutorials on how to do this shit. And I was like, no way. Fuck, I could do this, and because I clearly had had all the inspiration and motivation and and I was like, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
So I bought a couple of trees and watched videos and Robert sort of, he's absolutely right. I was Googling the nearest bonsai
nursery you could find.
Nursery I could find. And a couple others came up, but Kimura, that name was like that. I was like, that sounds legit.
Yeah.
It just sounded legit, like Joe's Bonsai or Bill's, Yahoo.
Yeah, right. Doesn't sound as good.
I was like,
that Bonsai wasn't going to cut it.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, that sounds like a legit place. I should definitely go by there. And that's when I eventually met Robert, but I had been going over there because I was looking for some more material.
So what was your first trees? What were your first couple trees?
Oh my God. You know what, dude?
Some of the ones that Brittany calls your poopy trees.
Yeah. So the poopy trees. I can't remember exactly which one was first. Oh, you know what? The first tree I ever got, this is pre-working on them. There's a guy in his van on what is that, Robert?
Malibu Canyon.
Yeah, Malibu Canyon.
Or Canyon, one or the other.
That's what I was hoping to hear. I was hoping to hear that at some point there was like a van buy or like a Lowe's purchase or something.
It's classic.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah, I used to live up in Malibu, right on the top of Mulholland and Canaan. And this dude would be there all the time in the van. I kept driving by and I'm like, pull over. And I think that may be where I got my first one because it was like, whoa, this thing's already
ready to
go. But that guy, that guy's still there, by the way. I don't know if it's the same guy, but it seems like it is.
No, we have one in Florida too that's like famous on the highway. That when you're exiting Florida, it's famous. It's everybody gets their first bonsai from there. And,
that's so bizarre.
Yeah,
it's a great place to start.
Highway bonsai. Yeah, I just got an idea.
Yeah.
New business venture.
I think I'll let those guys stick to what they're doing.
That's awesome, man. So what do you guys ever do any like, you guys obviously work on trees together and stuff like that. What are like, Bob, what's your favorite tree to work on? I'm sure I've asked you this before, but so our listeners know, what are some of the favorite things that?
It's almost an impossible question to
I know,
answer.
I got to ask it though.
My standard answer is usually whatever tree I'm working on at the moment.
Hey,
there you go.
That's generally, the way
I love that
feel.
answer for that.
Right now, though, I've been rewiring California Juniper for like 6 days, and it's starting to annoy me. So not particularly that one.
Hey.
But if I had to pick just one type of tree to work on, and I couldn't work on anything else, it would be a Procumbens juniper.
That's right. Yeah, he was telling me that last time.
Not us, Procumbens.
Mm-hmm. That's a solid choice.
They're awesome trees.
They are.
Awesome.
And you grow a lot of those, right? Now, what is the difference between procumbens and procumbens nana? I mean, I know one is smaller foliage, but is that the only difference?
Smaller foliage, tighter buds.
Tighter buds. Gotcha.
The other one, the procumbens tends to make a little bit better, bigger tree.
Gotcha.
And if you leave it alone, it'll revert to scale foliage.
Yeah.
And people will argue with you all the time. That's not a procumbens because it doesn't have real foliage. But they do. If you don't mess with them, just let it sit in the pot for long enough.
Now, do you notice that one grows faster than the other? The larger grows faster?
Way faster. Yeah,
the nanas do? Really? No kidding.
Yeah, we deal with the nanas exclusively here. I didn't know.
Yeah, they're just because they get so buddy. I mean, they don't grow trunks faster, that's for sure.
Right. They're more like prostrate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that about them.
Unfortunately, it used to be pretty easy to get procumbens with baseball size, fat size trunks.
Yeah.
Just the regular nurseries here. But that was a long time ago. Now it's more and more difficult to find them with a decent sized trunk.
Evan, do you grow those?
Yeah, I was saying, I have a good number of the nana, but I didn't know there was another just a regular procumbens. That's
weird. They don't bud as clumpy. The buds are not as tight, and their foliage is a little bit bigger.
And you just prefer that just over the tighter?
Yeah, it grows a little bit faster. It makes a little bit bigger plant. The trunk gets a little bit bigger.
Well, that makes sense, yeah, because of the dwarf nature on the other one.
Like nanas, they're bomb-proof,
Yeah.
People talk shit about them because every guy with one of those vans across the country, sells them. All with the same S shape in them. Mm-hmm. But they're awesome trees.
And what I've heard too is that, and maybe you know more about this than I do, but I've heard that in Japan they've come into vogue and out of vogue, and they come kind of in and out of fashion. And is that accurate?
Like everything else.
Yeah.
I think so. There's some pretty cool ones. They call them sonari.
Yeah.
And you don't see little ones there. I've never seen a shonin one.
Right.
Always pretty big ones, like trees that were in gardens for a long time, I think.
Huh. Yeah, I think I've been talking about the procumbens nana for, every once in a while we'll bring it up in an episode. I'm like, don't sleep on that species, guys. It's actually pretty good. Very good for a juniper.
Do you guys grow those, Carmen?
We don't have any nana here. We've got one procumbens in the yard, but it's a client tree. And, I didn't really like working with procumbens. I didn't think I liked working with procumbens. And then I worked on this tree and I was like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty fun. So my opinion has changed since. But they've got a really pretty bark, too. When you peel off the outer layer to reveal the color underneath. It's very red. It was a lot redder than I had expected. It's a little bit brighter than Shimpaku. So I was really happy with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty tree.
Yeah, I do like them a lot.
Evan, don't feel bad about not knowing that there's 9 million varieties of fucking juniper.
I'm aware of it.
So.
I'm down in. I just so happen to be in the Louisiana swamps, and junipers are not especially common here. The Procumben nana is the only one that I can really deal with that won't suffer from being overwatered and high humidity.
You know what though? I think you should try some of the other. Try Shimpaku again though, because I thought the same thing. People said the same thing in Florida that we wouldn't.
They're growing those in Taiwan, aren't they?
And
I was about to say,
exactly. They grow them in Taiwan and stuff like that.
I think it's about the soil mix more than anything.
I've got a bunch of Shimpaku in the ground over here. They're not. It's not an issue with that. It's just getting a trunk size on them because they're so slow.
Right.
People said the same thing about California junipers, that you couldn't grow them on the East Coast or anything, and the National Bonsai Museum killed a few of them, early on. But then once they got the soil mix and the watering down, they're doing fine. And I've got clients in several East Coast states with Californians that do just fine.
Yeah, and that's something I've heard. Even when I went to India, it was funny. There were people that were anti-juniper that said you cannot grow junipers in India. But then you'd have these people that would fly out Maro and stuff like that, and they'd be growing junipers fine. And so it was almost like I've heard that argument too many times to kind of not saying Evan's wrong or anything like that, but just saying like I do think there's more to the science. Not saying that you can't grow them or anything like that, but I gave up on them at one point. And now I'm growing them again. Yeah. I guess is
I'm
my
growing
point.
the shit out of them. It's just it's always the Mr. Miyagi tree, so they always kind of pass off as that roadside, mall side kind of thing for me. Unfortunately, they're great trees.
I love them. I
could put a lot of time into it, and if it's not really like if it's not a big tree, then it doesn't really make a huge impact. It always is kind of like that small S-curve tree to most people who look at it. So that's true. Just their issue.
Yeah, if you don't get them fat, that's true. If you don't get them big, they don't look good. So Tommy, what's your favorite tree to work on?
That's the Shimpaku is the one I did with Kaz, right, Robert?
Yeah. I don't know.
Dude, I love that. I don't know why, but I just think it's the coolest. I love that variety. I think it's my favorite. I'm just going to say that.
Gala.
What's that?
That was Itoya Gala Shimpaku, yeah. The one you worked on with Kaz?
Yes. I love that puppy,
Me too.
I just love that. It's just so classic to me.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm still a sucker for like foliage pads. Like just a classic tree. I know it's like
I love that too.
Yeah, you see them, and I know they're very, very common and whatnot. And I know that a lot of like the art is moving away from kind of just those cookie cutter pads and whatnot. But I'm a sucker for them. If I see one that's super dense, like a Hinoki cypress, oh my god.
Well, I think the thing about Shimpaku too is just that, like, you can do everything with it. You can create foliage pads. You can make it almost any style. It's really easy to carve and get some really interesting deadwood on. You can make it super artistic. You can keep it really basic. So you can really it's really just a super versatile plant. And I used to think I didn't like junipers, but I just didn't understand them. And now working on Shimpaku is one of my very favorite things to do, because especially the carving, man, that is super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like your way of carving with the little tweezers, pulling the fibers. Yeah, I like that.
Oh God, it takes hours. I will not tell you how many hours I just spent on a piece of deadwood over the last month, but it was an embarrassing amount of hours. It's worth it. It looks pretty cool.
It makes all the difference in the world to do it that way versus with a machine.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Well, I was telling somebody too that with a machine, like once your eye like learns to see grain on wood, if somebody crosses the grain one time, like the illusion is broken. I see it and I know it's machined, and so I really do prefer taking the time like Carmen does and stripping it like that.
Yeah, that's
gotta get a good wrist brace though.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have it. You have one of my favorite trees, though. Tommy has an amazing redwood. That's something I'd love to have.
Oh, that thing is crazy.
Yeah, that's something. Ever since I went out there, I've been obsessed with trying to get one. I have a cypress,
and that might be one you can't grow there.
Maybe not, but you know what? What I'm doing to kind of simulate it is I have a cypress that I'm going to grow just as straight as I can, and just try and make it simulated redwood. That's my goal.
That'll work.
Yeah, luckily we do mostly bald cypress here as far as our deciduous conifer, and I mean I've got plenty of them that could easily pull off the redwood style, and then you scrub the bark down really deep to the core, and
that's what I've been doing, getting it really red. Yeah.
And then, I mean, we can actually get the sequoia and the redwood here. I actually know somebody who's growing one as a show hen. Yeah, I think you've seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dawn's. Yeah. Dawn's is amazing. That's one of the ones that's like my favorite show hen redwood I've seen. So.
Yeah. So it's doable in our range, especially. I mean, I don't know. Florida's a little bit more out of that. I don't know.
Bob, do you carry any like redwood stock?
No, they're a little bit difficult here because it's so dry. I have a couple, but they're a little bit further along. but I have to baby them. From raw stock, they're a little bit difficult here.
What's their official zone?
Yeah. We get really, really dry in the summertime.
They have a weird. It's not really a. I don't know if they have like a specific zone. They need like humid, foggy conditions.
Yeah. Well, they do have a specific zone. It's just that one area along the coast in the Pacific Northwest where they grow, and you get a certain number of miles inland, and they stop.
Yeah, but then they also have that population in China, and so I don't know if that's like a similar kind of climate.
Different.
Yeah, but
they're different.
Yeah. But I don't know if they also live in a similar environment.
Dawn redwoods can live pretty much anywhere. I've seen them.
They're like a bald cypress.
Like they live in Michigan. They live here. They live everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's go to China and find out what the climate is like there. Amio like that. He loves the bonsai.
You guys have been to Taiwan too?
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
Nice.
Oh, awesome, man! Awesome,
really great bonsai there.
That's been my dream, being like a tropical grower. That's been the Shangri-La for me. So,
God, it's just crazy over there.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor, Bonsai Bar. This podcast is supported by Bonsai Bar, the beginner bonsai workshop popping up in breweries all across the Northeast. Bonsai Bar is 2 hours of tiny tree goodness disguised as a night out with friends. Come grab drinks, create a new tree, and watch as your friends and family get the bug for bonsai. Bonsai Bar is always looking for teachers and assistants, and you listen to this podcast, so you're probably already qualified. Bring your knowledge out to the bar. Apply today. Find event tickets, contact info, and more at bonsaibar.com. Thanks, Timothy Arsenal, for being the Tree EO.
And thanks for sponsoring our show. It's awesome.
So now I guess we're going to get to, I think we should, we're all curious now to hear about the trip and how that went. You guys, for the listeners, Bob and Tommy recently went on how many days was it? 16 days. So they got a tour with Makiko Koba in Japan, and she took them basically to some of the top nurseries and artists while they were there as they toured around. And so I guess if everybody's cool with it, we'll just kind of catch up with you guys about that.
Sounds cool, man. It was
cool.
Go. If you want to start, Robert, I'll start.
No, you start.
Where did you guys?
I didn't feel the same. How did it initiate?
Yeah, how did you guys start?
How did y'all decide?
Well, initially, once I knew that Japan and Australia were booked, Japan was at the very end of the world tour, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is perfect. Tour's done. I'm staying and gonna go see everything, and I'll bring Robert over, and we'll get it in." Then the dates got swapped to where Japan was before Australia, and I was like, "Oh man!" And then there was enough time to go early, so if we go, let's just call it 2 weeks before the tour started, and I was like, "Oh, we're going to be able to get this in." So just started planning with Robert got Makiko, and we just started kind of throwing darts at places that we wanted to visit. And I've always wanted to bring my kids. I have 2 boys, like 26 and 25, that I want to give them this gift of going to see this beautiful place, and that, and make this like really like a trip of a lifetime. Like, it's priceless. That was my goal, was like, how do we make this, all inclusive? Like, this was a once in a lifetime deal. And that's kind of where we started, but it almost didn't happen when the dates got switched. I was like, "Oh man!"
Did you guys start in like Tokyo, or where did you guys start out at?
Yeah, we started in Tokyo. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, we started in Tokyo, and then just went from there all around the country. But actually, the trip to Japan, the whole idea for it started a couple years back. Tommy was talking about going on tour and missing his bonsai. He was like really bummed. We were working on trees in my nursery one day. Fuck, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do. All day long, I sit around and don't go to work until 9 o'clock. I'm going to miss my trees. I spend, a couple hours every morning with my trees. And first I said, well, let's make a little ficus that you can take with you. So I made a little ficus bonsai to take on the road with them. And then I asked him to give me a list of the cities that they're playing in. And we would find, bonsai gardens and stuff for him to go visit. And it turned out that the first one was in Atlanta on my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Where my teacher, Kenji Miyata, lived.
Yeah, perfect.
So, I started this, bonsai tour across North America. And then Tommy one day said, hey, when we go to Japan, I said, well, I know people there too. We can set it up there too. And he's like, cool, we're going to Japan. And I said, I'm not going to say no.
And, that's right. This is all Robert's fault, really. Like this started, this started like, we toured all of America and some of Canada and what have you. But this is pre-Japan. So this is just
all building up to Japan.
Yeah.
Can you tell our listeners what your bonsai's name is if that goes on tour with you?
Figgy. Oh, his name is Figgy.
Oh my gosh.
It's beautiful.
I love that it's the same with all of us that we leave our trees for a couple of days and like you get itchy fingers. Even when we were like traveling, Evan and I were at a couple of shows this year at the same time, and we're looking at trees, we're talking about trees, and like our fingers are just like, I just want to touch it, I just want to fix that wire, I just want to do something. And so it's like 2 or 3 days without touching a tree and it's like you start to go crazy. So that's a great idea, taking a little one with you.
Yes, especially when it's literally like my morning meditation. Like I'm going to just call it that because it's literally ritualistic every single day. That's how I start my day. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have that. What am I going to do? Like I could die.
Oh, well,
I could die.
Yeah. And that's what I think that's what, really is so cool kind of about seeing Tommy do this is like he legitimately kind of gets so excited about it, and Bob's mentioned that as well, but it's infectious, when somebody's that passionate about it. So very cool.
Yeah, Carmen, when you said itchy fingers, one of the hotels we stayed at in Tokyo brought a bunch of trees from Kimura Bonsai Museum and put them in Tommy's room one day when we were all
that's awesome.
Oh, he came home. There's like $50,000 in his room.
Yeah,
I was so glad he didn't have tools with him because it had been weeks since he's touched a tree, and I know he would have been messing with them.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so hard to not touch.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was awesome. For him.
They literally filled my room. I walked in and was like,
"That's awesome!
That's amazing!
What?
Yeah,
and you got
my God!
Amazing.
Yeah, good thing it was on the last night because I was literally I was sitting there and going like, how can I steal one, get one back, like just one.
You guys also went to and saw some really famous artists too, right? Like, did you guys go to Kimura's garden as well? Yeah,
we went to Kimura's. That was awesome. I mean, he's kind of known as being a kind of gruff, kind of serious guy. Never tried to smile, never tell a joke or anything like that. He was cracking up and laughing and giggling.
No way.
And throwing horns and stuff. And got Tommy to sign a board and put it up on the wall with all his awards and stuff.
Dude,
it was really cool. The reception that these guys had for Tommy was amazing. Like I couldn't believe that they were fans. Like almost all the bonsai nursery owners were fans.
That's so wild.
And it was pretty cool. It was like, like you or me or any of us probably feel about meeting Kimura or Shinji Suzuki or something.
Awesome.
But they were that way meeting Tommy. Yeah.
It's so crazy. And dude, Robert, I just saw on it may have been Makiko's page on Instagram. He still has my autograph on his wall, on that wall.
Yeah.
It's still up there. I was like, no way, because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm gonna put this on the wall.
Yeah, right. Once they go, you put it away.
It's still on his wall next to all the awards.
One of the places he actually signed the wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we saw Kimura.
Yeah, how was that?
Suzuki's place was in bro. That guy is on a whole other visual stimuli. Like everything. I don't know. There's something about his aesthetics. Whether it's a water feature or a display or the trees or just everywhere you looked, you're like, oh my God. Like he creates these scenescapes that's just
awesome.
Fucking unbelievable. Like I was bummed leaving there, man. I was like, it's almost impossible to take it all in. And I felt that like at a lot of places, but his place in particular just had this, I was like just trying to take, snapshots of it because there was so much coming at me and I was just like overwhelmed.
That's awesome.
Completely overwhelmed just with beauty and a super cool guy. Taiga was super cool. We worked on
fun.
Yeah, we worked on a couple of trees with him that are insane.
That's
we
cool.
met so many great guys.
Did you get to purchase any cool pots or anything?
Didn't get any pots, actually. Yeah. I think maybe Robert did.
Yeah, Robert, you score anything cool?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Nice, man. Nice.
I got a couple of pots. And
I wish that it was easier to import trees. So there's so much over there that's just so gorgeous. When I was there a few years ago for Gafu 10, it was like,
I know.
Oh, it was killing me,
I know. That's why I mentioned.
Yeah. Well, Tommy got the same way. I asked Tommy if he wanted to go to the Sugar Tag, which is a shohin show. And it was at the end of our trip. We were, the band was playing that day. So we would have had to go early in the morning. And Tommy was like, dude, I just can't do it anymore. I can't look at any more trees I can't bring home with me. It's killing me.
Yeah, I was torturing. Oh, why do they make it so freaking difficult, man? Like
Japanese longhorn beetle.
Yeah, that's longhorn beetle.
That's what they say, but it's just, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because a lot of times people just find loopholes and whatnot.
Yeah,
anyway.
There's a lot of protections you can take at this point and quarantines and all of that. But
exactly.
It's tricky. It's real tricky.
Yeah.
Kind of closing the barn door after the horse got away because, what happened in Chicago is like the basic driver of all this stuff. They get these beetles in the trees in Chicago years ago and had to cut down thousands of trees. So, but yeah, I mean, especially, like bonsai, it's easy enough to.
Oh, yeah. You can totally just nuke them. There's not going to be anything living on those anymore.
No, I know. When we bring them in from China, I mean, that's exactly what they do. And we've seen them at USDA. We've seen like giant shipments of like root over rock maples and stuff like that. And, they just put them in this giant fumigation chamber. And that's how they treat all the crotons and everything that come in. And so,
right.
I remember watching some azaleas getting prepped for shipment, and they had completely bare rooted these azaleas. And they had a pressure washer, like the kind you use at your car in the car wash, spraying the roots, like Like,
yeah, because they're serious. If they find any soil, they'll burn
they're
them.
like, we can burn it or we can send it back. Which one would you like?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, it's dead either way.
Yeah.
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 Now that the soil's off the root,
Exactly.
does it matter?
Yeah.
A little late, dude. Yeah.
Hey, Bonsai Buds, just here to tell you guys about Bonsai Central real quick. It's going to be happening May 3rd to 5th in St. Louis, Missouri. They are looking for the best trees in the United States to be put on show. It's going to be a show similar to the U.S. National Show in New York. There's going to be a top prize of $2,500. And also they're going to be presenting Kusamono and Suwazeki as well. They are taking submissions now for trees, and that will be up until February 1st. You can submit your submissions at bonsaicentral.com. That's bonsai-central.com. You'll need 2 to 4 photos of your tree or the display that you'll be using and a brief display of the tree. Exhibited trees, Suwazeki, and Kusamono will be included in a show book. So they're going to do this just like they do the national show in New York. They're going to have a show book that's going to be printed out at the end. It's going to show all the awesome trees, Suwazeki and Kusamono, that were displayed at the show. There's also going to be a lot of awesome vendors there, including myself. Underhill Bonsai is going to be there. Tuateki is going to be there. Vicky Chamberlain, Ellie Atkins, April Gridsby, and Byron Myrick. And that's amongst other vendors that are going to be there. It's going to be a great place to go and buy all the things that you need for your bonsai display. Just like the national show where you go in and you go to the vendor area and you're just like, I want to show trees this year. They'll have the hookups there. They'll have everything from Suwazeki, stands, scrolls, pre-bonsai trees, everything you need. There will also be an auction that will take place that Saturday of that weekend. And just sign up there to be part of the auction and the dinner and all that there. Also, I do need to mention that there will be headlining artists such as Bjorn Bjornholm, Taylor Sherrod, Mira Heidick, Andrew Robson, Mero Sternberger, and don't forget to mention the amazing Kusamono master Young Cho. All these people will have their workshops, including the high top quality trees that they will be working with you guys, as far as twisted junipers, old trident maple stock, just everything you need to make excellent bonsai material with. So you guys check it out. Go over to bonsai-central.com and make sure to register or submit your tree now.
Oh, not to get too far off topic and whatnot, but what was your guys' favorite favorite moment of the trip? Kyoto. That's what I always thought.
For me.
The favorite moment?
Like, what was like the
individual moment?
That special moment.
What was your kind of, maybe that's like a bit too big, but yeah, what was like your favorite place that you went to, or your favorite kind of, like, I don't know, the culmination?
Even that's too hard to answer because, like, you'd see the best pine you've ever seen in your life, and you turn the corner, and there's the best pine you've ever seen in your life, and you walk up another aisle, there's the best pine you've ever seen in your life. I mean, we were in Daiju Inn, and it was just like, my mind was blowing up. There was, every time I turned around, there was a tree better than the last tree. It was like the best tree I'd ever seen. Probably, though, one of my favorite moments was we did a tea ceremony.
Oh, wow.
In a temple, and I wish I could remember the name of the temple. That's not open to the public, and we just had this tea ceremony there, and the garden there was one of the smallest gardens that we've seen, but it was one of the most peaceful, and sitting there doing this whole traditional tea ceremony,
that's
probably
really
one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, that is special. That's something that's on my bucket list.
It was. That was pretty cool. Or standing under that giant dragon ceiling in another temple.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The ceiling that's, I think they said it was 108 individual paintings that made up these two giant dragons.
That's awesome.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. I'll agree with Robert on all of those, because those are definitely highlights. And there was something that Robert and I, we mentioned about 2 hours ago, and it hit me. when we were in Kyoto, I'm always looking, I'm just always trying to take it in. And there was something really happened in Kyoto. And I just mentioned this to Robert, like after looking at, from the ponds to the fences, to the doors, to the, just everything aesthetically about it. And I said this to Robert today. I was like, I had so many moments of like, oh my God, these confirmations of like,
right.
Fuck, we're doing it right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And
He's talking about building the garden.
Yeah, about the garden that we're building, right? And just when you look around and it's such a beautiful thing to like go like, whoa, we are like, we're on point. Like we're doing it. This is what we're creating, and it's such a beautiful feeling, man. And I just looked at Robert and like, dude, we're doing it. Doing this right.
That's awesome.
This is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. For our listeners,
that's a nice feeling.
Tommy and Bob are building a Japanese garden currently for Tommy's new house. And so, it's from the pictures I've seen, it looks like Japan. I mean, it looks
that's
like,
so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of the goal. He wanted to walk out the door, feel like he was in Kyoto, and we're getting there.
So very, very cool.
Yes.
That's always been the dream. I see tea gardens like that and like Japanese themed gardens popping up all over the place. But the one I see you guys working on definitely looks special.
It's like, and I've seen a bunch of those gardens, and I'm like,
right,
not quite doing it right. It's close, but no cigar. Like this was a confirmation, this trip for me, that like, wow. I mean, from the not only the garden, but to the many of the decisions made on the house and the swimming pool and the texture of the plaster and all this stuff. So it's really encompassing the whole home and garden together. And it just so cool, man. What a cool feeling to and reassuring yourself and your decisions and my buddy Robert, like we're doing this, man. We're doing this right.
And do you have a favorite tree, Tommy, or does it kind of change as you go?
It does change because because they change and your taste changes, or you'll see something and you're like, oh, look at that. Like I'm still exploring, and still learning and still I'm still trying to take it all in. So yeah, it changes constantly. And even to like when we were in Japan, we're at this one garden, and I said to Robert, I go, dude, we don't have a weeping willow. We have to have one. That weeping willow, like draping where the leaves are touching the pond. Like I'm like, that is like, that's a 100% have to have, and you forget about those things until, like I was saying earlier with bonsai, like you'll see something and then that's your favorite. And I don't know, it's constant change.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know, just the other day I had a tree that I was ready to sell and I was ready to get rid of it. And then I put it in a different pot and all of a sudden I'm like, this is my favorite tree.
Yep.
This is the best tree I own.
That's happened to me.
Yeah. So needless to say, I didn't sell it, but you never know.
You sold the old pot that it was in though, right?
I sold the old pot. Get rid of that old thing.
You're going to have to sell some of them with that little package you got coming.
I know, man. I know. I've actually pared down the collection a lot because of that. Like, I know right now I'm chomping at the bit. I don't have anything to work on. And so I'm like overworking some stuff. And, I
got some stuff you can work on. Just fly out here.
Yes, please.
Help me, please.
I'm dying. But I know that if I buy what I had, if I build back up to what I had come growing season and come when the baby's here, I'm going to be like losing my mind. So I got to just stay disciplined and try and keep it small. but
Be born
it's
with
hard.
a pair of scissors in each hand.
Yeah, thanks,
right.
Tommy. Thanks.
Good luck with that, bro.
Already, I've had like 3 new trees creep into the garden.
Good luck.
So yeah, I'm like, well, I sold that one, so I got to get 2 more.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it just happens. I don't know.
It just happens,
It's a
it's happened, but it just happens. Like this past weekend, California Bonsai Society had their annual member sale, and I was not planning on buying any trees. In fact, I had a few tropical trees left that I brought with me to sell because I didn't want to have to deal with getting them over the winter. And I came home with this awesome root over rock black pine.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
Couldn't help myself.
Yeah, Bob does not like tropicals, or well, he'll say he likes tropicals just fine. There he goes.
It's not that I don't like them. I'm just not willing to build a greenhouse for them.
Hell yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I would love to grow more northern stuff, man. I'd love to have a maple or 2, but I don't want to shove it in a freezer or do anything like that. So no, I know. I've talked to some people.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah. So what's on the agenda next for you guys? What I know that you do a lot with California Bonsai Society, Bob, and I know you do like kind of a visiting artist tour.
Yeah, we just had Memorial Luna here. He was Kobayashi's apprentice. He was just here. God, he had a busy week. He was in Argentina over the weekend until Wednesday. I picked him up on Friday in Los Angeles. And then Monday, he was here for a week. And then I dropped him back off at the airport, and he flew to Tokyo to help Kobayashi set up for the Taiken 10 and another show. So
wow,
he's been traveling around. But, so we won't have another person until February now, and that'll be bringing in Michael Ryan Bell.
Oh, cool.
To help educate people on pots.
Very cool. And
we had him out a few years back for some of the clubs. And at first there was a lot of resistance.
Right.
It's like, well, he's not going to do a demo. He's not going to make a tree. We're not going to have a tree in the raffle, And I was like, he'll give you a pot that's worth whatever. And, I had to like twist people's arms to make them agree to let him do the club meetings. And before he was halfway done, they were like, when can he come back to the second part?
Right.
He does this incredible program on pots that just like people are blown away by it. There's so much that people don't know. And so much he does know. So he's going to be here in February. And then this year in May, Kay Mooney is going to be graduating from his apprenticeship.
Yes.
In early May. So I'm going to be at LA's going to be his first stop.
Very cool.
On the way back from Japan. So he'll be here for a week.
Very, very cool.
In May. And then July, I haven't worked out yet. And then in November, we've got I didn't write her name down on the boat, so I can't remember who it is. But somebody else. So 4 times a year we bring in a visiting artist, and I always have at least one woman because I think it's important that more women are involved in bonsai.
Agreed.
Very cool.
And then
I agree with that as well.
It is. I think it's more important that more women are involved in the planet, but that's not going to happen. So I can do a little bit to make it happen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. And Tommy, what do you got going on?
I'm done. We just finished the world tour, so that was all nearly 2 years. So I'm home now. I'm done. Done till I don't know. We're gonna go do a few festivals. I think about 12 festivals. Like in I forget when, but like mid-year next year, some festivals. But for the most part, home, just chilling, man.
Cool, man. So that sounds like you guys got a lot going on, and it sounds like Tommy's going to just relax and catch up on some sleep and whatnot, and work on bonsai.
Yes.
He doesn't
Yes.
sleep much.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. Awesome, man. And when do you think when do you think the garden's going to be finished up in your new place?
Never.
Never. Good answer.
Work in progress.
Good answer.
Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting better at that answer because it is kind of a reality. I don't know if it ever is done.
No.
I guess
definitely not bonsai.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like bonsai. I mean, I think that's the reality. I always talk that like bonsai is like training wheels for life, and I think Japanese aesthetics in general are like that, is raking the sand. Why rake the sand when you're just going to have to rake it again tomorrow? But I think that's the beauty of it, is you just learn to rake it a little better, and you do it again and again, and you try and find the beauty in that.
Yeah, that is it, my friend.
Cool. It's cool. It's cool.
That was another moment in Japan where we had one of the monks there was like running around to the gardener, getting all the different rakes he used.
Oh, yeah.
So we can see the rakes, because we were
That's
trying
cool.
to find a place to get one, instead of just making one. So they brought us out all these samples of rakes and stuff, and they were all falling apart, pieces of shit. I mean, it cracked me up. They were like all wobbly. We were afraid to handle them. They were so loose and falling apart, but they worked. That's what they were using.
That's the prize tool, probably the 100-year-old rake that's been there.
Yeah. I was afraid to touch him. I let Tommy hold him. I took the pictures.
We have a student here who has made custom rakes for raking gravel, and it was like, why would anybody ever need a custom rake? And then now it's like, okay, now I can see maybe why.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
apparently, I didn't know it, but depending on the tooth and the angle of the tooth and all that, these different designs in the gravel, and different gravels, require different size teeth and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
basically like a paintbrush for the sand.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, you probably want to have whatever different patterns you'd want that rake for. I'm sure it's probably endless. Or
If you
not
need any
endless,
rakes, I
but
know a
just-
guy.
Yeah,
I got a rake a guy.
that's cool because this is how crazy we got. I'm at this place in Holland, and buying. Should we shout them out?
Yeah. Hey, I talk about the last, and I'll find his name.
Okay, this is how crazy we're getting, and so I'm over there, and he's one of the largest importers from Japan to Holland. So that's beautiful, insane, from pagodas to freaking gravel and trees and everything in between. A coast, I forget the name. Anyway, this is how crazy we're getting. Robert's on a Zoom and a totally different, what?
Yokoso Japanese Gardens.
Yokoso, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's like 3 a.m. for him, and I'm on Zoom, and I'm looking at these 10-foot tall stone pagodas and lanterns and blah, 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 all this stuff for the garden. And we hang up, we get all this stuff sorted out. And then I go, and they take me over, and they show me like 5 different kinds of gravel. And I was like, oh shit, we need gravel, because there's an area that is beautiful where it's stepping stones to the tea house. I'd love to do a beautiful dry, Zen rocky kind of garden thing. And so I call Robert back. I'm like, dude, you're not going to believe this. Like, this is crazy. They have these, 4 different kinds of gravel, but this one gravel in particular that was from Kyoto held the lines. When you raked it, the lines stayed. The other gravels kind of sort of collapsed or just didn't hold.
Yeah.
No way.
There was something about this particular gravel that where you pull the rake through is exactly what was left. The others, it just didn't hold the rake. And so all of a sudden, and I'm calling Robert back, and we're ordering tons of fucking gravel for the place. And it's 3 a.m. and he's calculating. He's like, he's doing the math, and I think we need 21. What was it? 20 tons?
I think 20 buckets. Yeah. So it's 3 a.m, and the guys tell me that each bucket is 9 cubic yard or 9 cubic meters. So I'm thinking in my head, trust me, like 9 meters, let's say like 27 square feet. Yeah, we need 21 buckets. And in the morning I woke up and I thought, I'm going to check this. And we ordered like way too much. So we had to call and cut the order in half. And we still have too much, but
yeah, that's awesome, man.
but it's awesome. Like, I didn't realize how, I don't know, just I didn't even expect there to be a difference in frickin' gravel.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a big difference. You can't get
gravel like that anywhere near.
Yeah, there's the Japanese. It seems like everything's like graded in Japan. You can always get like higher grade something in Japan. Gravel that sits in a row.
Everything's just better. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the way it sits; it's the color and the texture and all. And there's nothing here that's exactly like it.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've looked all over the country, and even like the Huntington had the big dry garden, and they got, I think, 100 yards of it 50 years ago from Japan, and are running out of it. And they found a place in Canada that has something that's slightly similar, and they mix it with the original stuff they have, and it works. But it's just not available here.
Really?
Wild.
Yeah. Like, I'm just so baffled at how somebody discovers that, so over time, like they just found that's the best gravel for raking, Yeah. It's just wild. It's cool.
Pretty crazy, man. But that's how deep things are over here. Like, you would never, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, wow, really, dude? The gravel?
Yeah, but
you got to get every detail.
Every single, no stone unturned.
That's one thing about Tommy. He has an eye for details like you wouldn't believe. We're walking through the streets of Kyoto, and he's like noticing the detail on the edges of roof tiles. Kyoto, all the roof tiles are cool. And the corners are really cool. But he's like noticing the detail on the edge of each individual tile or textures of walls. And it's just like he's so detail orientated. It's a little nerve wracking sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a good quality to have for bonsai, though. It's one of those things you got to see all those little tiny things. So
it is. Yeah, this is true, I guess.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So
good stuff.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. Do you guys have any questions for us, or do you guys have anything? Here's one. What would you tell beginners coming into bonsai? From your point of view, what would you say to somebody who's just starting bonsai?
Me or whoever?
Yeah.
Both of you guys.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Me, I'll just say, just do it. Find somebody that you can teach, that can teach you, or, go online and just do it. You're not going to do it by just reading or looking at things. Just get some trees and do it. And eventually you'll figure it out. Way easier with a teacher. If you happen to be lucky enough to have, somebody nearby you, great. But if not, just do it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice. I definitely was a little paralyzed with when I first started out, and I had paralysis by analysis. I was overthinking everything I did, and so it's good sometimes to just hear that. It's just you just got to do it, and for better or for worse, live with the decisions you make and move on and learn.
Right, exactly. You don't have to start out with $1,000 piece of material. Start out with a $10 tree or whatever. But just do it. It's not going to happen by itself.
Or get one from a van.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I've seen some of those ones from the van turn out pretty good a few years down the road.
Yeah.
Proper techniques, you could turn them around.
Yeah, man.
That's great. That's great advice from Robert. Like, I would say the same thing: is find somebody that can. I mean, Robert's really been once I met him, like my world as a beginning bonsaiist, I don't even know what the fucking word is, but
we sometimes say bonsai practitioner, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once I met, I was just saying Robert's advice is great, because once I met Robert, the whole game changed, opposed to just kind of just winging it and just doing it yourself. So that's really valuable. If you do have somebody in your area, if you can find somebody, man, that's just, I don't know.
Yeah. Support local businesses, especially local bonsai nurseries.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's cool. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would have been. Sometimes I take it for granted that we have a nursery so close, and that there's a community kind of built around bonsai here, and it obviously makes things easier when you have that. So yeah, if you can reach out and get an instructor or somebody to nurture that initial passion, that's going to really take you far. So very cool. Very cool. Well, do you guys have any questions for us?
When are we going to see you again?
Hey man, well, I'm supposed to. I was talking with the guys in Santa Cruz about coming out there, so I might be out later this year. Yeah. So I might come out later
That's
this year
exciting.
and have to hang out with you guys.
Yes, dude.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, are you or Bob?
They're short tropical time, so you should work on Tommy's tropicals.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah, dude.
I like that. I got him. I saw him working on an Australian pine the other day, and man, it's just that's what I do like about your pursuit of bonsai is like I basically just told him a few things, and next thing I know, a few hours later, the tree's done. So that's
he listens. I mean, he's got a really great quality as a student is that he listens.
Yeah.
Which most students don't.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like to listen.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
There's some things he needs to hear over and over again, like use the bigger wire, but for the most part, he listens.
Yeah.
Well, we all do, man. I just, I just sometimes I realize there's things I forgot. Like I was just realizing I worked with Laurent while he was here, and some of the things we were talking about were things that I'm like, I remember like doing things that way and then moving away from that and then coming back. And so it's interesting how sometimes you just forget some of the stuff. You hear it so much,
Right. Yeah, it's not even about the listening, it's the retention.
Right, it's the retention.
Fucking remember what was just said, because there's 9 million things going on. Yeah,
cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Thanks for having us.
I was just gonna say that's cool. Hopefully I will get to see you guys this year. And do you guys what do you guys got planned? I know Bob's got a lot planned for bonsai. Are you just going to hang local and work on your own trees?
That's pretty much the plan, man. Just home, enjoying the time off and working on the house, garden, trees, chilling.
like I say on most of our episodes, if this is your first episode, I'm sorry. I say that pretty often.
No, we have a pretty awesome listeners. You know, they kind of hear us. Sometimes we have our own little traits. Evan, one of his things is he's still trying to get "Let's Go Viansky," and so that's become part of our shtick.
I'm pretty sure I could pronounce your last name now. The "Let's Go Viansky" is just a callback. But yeah, for a solid 14 episodes.
But you know, we got our shtick down, so we're good.
Yeah, and yeah, Michael, like, when this thing goes out, is it a visible thing or is it just audio?
Oh, dude, we're gonna put your head on like a small body, and it's gonna dance around the screen. And no, there won't be any video or anything like that. We're just doing the audio.
I mean,
Gotcha.
There's a possibility. Yeah. There might, we got some stuff going on right now, but we're working towards that.
I gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
cool.
But yeah, you'll be able to hear it everywhere that that you normally would listen to podcasts on.
Okay, because I was going to say then, it's like between Mike and I, we could come up with some pretty bumping like intro music and
Oh yeah, that would be that'd be super cool.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Please do an intro track.
He fucks with the computers.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I'd still love to do something like that. That would be a lot of fun. I know you got the drummer from another mother, and I've always wanted to kind of sit down and rock out with that.
Yeah.
That would be a dope project.
We'll definitely play with it, dude.
Awesome. Man.
Well, wait until the new studio's done.
Oh yeah.
Dude. Well, you guys are welcome in my studio whenever you want, you know.
Yeah, I know. Mike's going to see the studio, and it's going to be the weirdest but coolest sort of catch 22 of like sitting in the studio, but the view is looking out into the garden.
Oh my God.
And like you're like, well, wait a second. Yeah, I'm inspired. This is insane, but I will also want to go outside. Like, how am I going to get any work done?
This is awesome. No, this is you're on the right path, my friend. You are on the right path. This is the dream.
That's what you want.
I can see it now. I can see, like, you know what? I got to admit, the studio's got to be more outdoors. I see it right now, like looms of mic cables going out into the garden. I'm going to record the drums in the tea house. I need some sounds of water.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah.
Here we go.
We could spend a whole day just sampling sounds on your property.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah. We'll do beats and bonsai.
Oh, goodness, like a natural little amphitheater, too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, the property sits down in kind of a bowl, so it sounds amazing in there.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to do beats and bonsai.
For sure. For sure.
Awesome, man. Well, I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I think wait, Evan, do you have any announcements or anything?
For you guys, I mean, for you, Bob, where can they go see your work? That's kind of going to be one of the things for our listeners here.
KimuraBonsaiNursery.com.
Okay. Do you have an Instagram or any other way for people to check your stuff out?
Yeah, we're on Instagram. I think it's Kimura Bonsai Nursery. I don't know. I don't do it.
Yeah, you guys go check out his website. I explored it before we started talking. You got a really nice setup on there. You got some really nice trees for sale for sure. And then for Tommy, where can we check you out at?
Whatever you do not Google me.
Oh. Okay, so
you'll be there for fucking days.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It only happens if it's true.
Yeah. And so put it this way, I'm not hard to find.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can find them everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, all that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Just do a little tinker around. You'll find something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
dude, that is awesome. Well, I think I speak for all of us from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you guys, both of you, for joining us. I know you guys both have crazy schedules, and I know we're all over the country, and so it was a little kind of crazy getting everybody together. So thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much. That was super fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, if you guys need anything at all, or you have any other questions, just reach out. Otherwise, I'll let you know when the podcast goes live, and you guys can check it out. Okay.
You have a great week.
Bye. Thank you.
See you guys.
All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.